Live like Memorex. Good morning, world. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning to the world at large. Everyone out there in YouTube land, wherever you may be, I hope today is the best day possible for you. Saturday morning. Saturday morning, live on the tube of the U. Waiting for some people to join us this morning. We can get this party started. I'll get 6 now. Good morning, everyone. Samantha Mustard McDowell from Ireland, or good afternoon. Good morning. How are you doing, Samantha? I hope you are doing well. Dawn Marie, good morning. Happy Saturday morning. Purple, good morning. I hope we are all having a wonderful morning or afternoon. Elizabeth, good morning. Today is my birthday, turning 37. Wow, happy birthday, Elizabeth. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Elizabeth. Thank you. Let's all sing happy birthday to Elizabeth. Ready? One, two, three. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Elizabeth. Happy birthday to you. It doesn't come off as well as Marilyn Monroe singing it to John F. Kennedy, but I do my best. Happy birthday, Elizabeth. Doing real good. A little star stuck. Been covering from Epic music. No names here. Ah, well, that's good. That sounds like fun. You got the Maryland vibe? Happy birthday, Mr. President. That's the best impression of it I can do. That's pretty awful. Diana, good morning. Francie, good morning. Dee Dee Parks, good morning. Welcome. So the first part of this here, I'm gonna answer some viewer questions about Josh Duggar. People, I received several questions from people who wanted to know. They had seen an article that was recently released online about the Duggar family and Josh Duggar in particular, and that the family of Josh Duggar during the time that they were on the TLC program, a lot. Trying to figure out how to phrase this. Their religious sect, the sect that the Duggars follow, is closely aligned with the Quiverful movement. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but the independent Baptist movement that their family actually practices, their version of Christianity, which not the Christianity that I would follow, but the independent fundamentalist Baptist movement, the IFB, I can actually speak. follows the quiverful movement, and the questions that I received were about how does the IFB follow, and how close is it to the quiverful movement? And it actually is pretty closely aligned in their fundamentalist practices for religion. Some examples of things that they follow, that the quiverful movement also follows, is every single member of the family. It doesn't matter if you're a toddler or if you're 97 years old. At home, you must do mandatory, and there is no and, ifs, or buts about it. You must do it. You must practice and study the Bible, the Old Testament, 5 days a week. And depending upon the family, but in Josh Duggar's situation, his family spends 2 hours every single day, 5 days a week. And the sixth day, they actually go to church. So if you look at the entire 7-day week, 5 days at home of study of the Old Testament, and 1 day at an actual church. And when they go to church, they don't just go for a couple hours, for services. It's an all-day event. Females. The moment a female child is born, they start to look for other children within their actual group to marry that little girl to. So every one of Josh Duggar's sisters, from the date of birth, they've already started looking for potential matches for her to marry. And that's just the way it is. And by the time that little girl gets to the age of puberty, they've already settled upon this family or this family. It could be, 1 or 2 kids from this family or 1 or 2 kids from this family. But by the age of puberty, they've already, started moving that girl towards marriage within either one of those families that they've already picked. There are punishments for not following the actual religious studies and practices for someone within the IFB, and the punishments work like this. You have to think of it as like a triangle. Okay, at the very top of that triangle, this is the church. The next level down in that pyramid, or pyramid scheme if you want to, but the next level down in that pyramid is the father. Now that could be the grandfather, could be slightly above your actual biological father if you're in this pyramid. So, but all the men are in this group. The women then follow below the men who are actually. So here's the father, your father, his father, and so on, his brothers, your uncles, and stuff like that. They're all in this movement. The next level is the fathers of the brides, side of the family, and then the women. So women fall into the fourth category. Everything comes down from the church to the father, and then gets, dispelled out to the actual family itself. But there's punishment, and the punishment, if you do something wrong, maybe you're a female and you wore the wrong clothing, or you didn't study your total 2 hours each and every day, 5 days a week. Maybe you slacked off and you skipped a day. The church finds out about it. They then come down on the father. The father then passes out the punishment to the children. He may not be directly the person who punishes the child. He may tell his wife and hand down that duty that way to her and say, you run the house. That's your job. This is what you do. You're responsible for this. You punish the children. But it all comes from the church downward this way. Children are all down here, especially if they're female. Male children are above the female children, and that, if you look at it that way in a pyramid. There are loss of freedoms that come along with it as part of the punishment within the IFB and the quiverful movement. If a child doesn't follow along with the practices of religion, or they do something, maybe they watched a movie or listened to a song or something that was not within the it hasn't been pre-approved, basically, is what I'm trying to get at. They have punishments that they will set down upon that child, male or female. in this case, in this situation. And those restrictions of loss of freedoms can be everything from being able to talk to their friends for, extended periods of time, 20, 30 days. You can't talk to any of your friends. You're going to be homeschooled, so you're not going to be able to see them anyways, but you can't actually talk to other children. You can't go with the family to other events. You can only go to church and then you stay home. And they do these things to try to make sure that they instill in them that these things that are out here that are outside of the actual pyramid are made from the that's the devil, and the devil is making this desire of yours to want to listen to this stuff. So you can't even get say it was Jill Duggar. You can't get Jill Duggar to listen to the newest Rihanna song unless the church and the father at the top of the pyramid have already agreed that music by Rihanna is approved, and it's not. Oh, it's anywhere near approved in that example. So again, they study the Old Testament, but it's the King James version is the most important thing to both religious movements. So but when you look at the two of them, they mirror each other all the way down. They might as well be the same movement in a lot of aspects, but the Quiverful movement is a lot more restrictive in their religious practices. They do some things, where the female, if they've made a ruckus or they've made a disturbance within the family or the community, they may have to do all the religious studies on their knees. And on this, it's called a practice board, and I don't know what else to call it. They may have another name for it, but it's basically a wooden board that has little rails in it, and they must kneel on this thing for 2 hours to actually do their religious studies. It's meant to punish the body and the spirit. So they go over, and then that practice is maybe 2, 3, 4 hours in length that they have to kneel on this thing for. And in a nutshell, when it comes to both churches and both movements, women again are they're secondary in the religion. They're not treated as equals. They never will be. In the situation with Josh Duggar, where Josh Duggar is gone from the family, Josh's dad, Jim Bob, steps in and he takes the place of Josh Duggar within that actual family in a lot of ways. I've already gone over the strict guidelines and punishment. Extramarital affairs. If a female is ever to have the desire or is not actually commit extramarital affairs, but to actually, they say that this woman, female, no matter the age, has the desire to step outside of it. It's all treated the same. If it's an extramarital affair or if it's just desire, they say that it's a desire. They're all treated the same way, and they're basically excommunicated within their own community. So what little support they may have from another family over here, and the mother to this mother, or this child to this child, friendship, they strip them of everything, and they keep them basically imprisoned within their own home, and they're not allowed to take part in the religious practices at church. Church is actually looked at as a benefit to the actual family itself, to each individual. You get to leave home and away from your siblings, your parents, and actually go to church. You're there as a family, but it's an individual, benefit. So that answers the questions on how those two movements are closely aligned. Excuse me. Hope I answered your questions. If I'm mistaken, he condoned the torture and murder of people to be witches and KJV, the gold standard of the Bible blows my mind. Solstice Spice Company, good morning, welcome. Pippadot, good morning, welcome. Sorry I missed you earlier while I was talking. I hope you were both doing well, and welcome to the stream. Religion is at the center of all wars. More people have died in the name of Christianity than anything ever. That is absolutely true. Good morning, Gemma. Thank you, Gemma. I appreciate it. I'm just human, and I do the best that I can. But I appreciate that. Well, I heard of the Jana moved out. I don't know. I haven't been following the rest of the family as close as I could. She may have. And good luck with to Jana. Some of them have actually started to put some distance, especially after the Josh Duggar scandal broke. They've started to put distance between themselves and the family and church. They still practice a version of the independent Baptist movement, but they've started to put some distance between themselves and the church. I mean, it wasn't until just a few years ago that females in Josh's circle in the actual IFB, females in particular, were able to wear pants. They weren't able to wear pants until I think it was 5 years ago or something like that. I mean, they had to wear long dresses. They weren't allowed to show any skin, like neckline, or ankles. It always had to be covered. I mean, we from the outside looking in, we can say that's a little extreme, but I don't know. When it comes to religious practices and things that people wear, I try not to judge it. Hi, old friend. Trixie, good morning, Trixie. Good morning, Will and everyone. Good morning to you, Trixie. I hope you are doing well. I have a problem with religious practices like that, like the IFB, and the religious organizations that Josh Duggar and his family believe in and follow, along with the Quiverful movement. If you need to restrict people that much to keep them in line, with your fundamentalist beliefs, are you really truly practicing the Word of God, the religion, and faith, and they never help anybody outside of their own circles. That you'll never find Jim, Bob, and Michelle down at the homeless shelter feeding homeless people, unless the church itself has decided that that's what they want to do. They're not free to pick themselves and say, okay, we're going to go over here and we're going to help people, and we're going, oh, there was a flood in town, we're going to go help restore the people who are not members of the church, we're going to go help them. That'll never happen. Thank you, Trixie. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you very much. In the early part of the 1900s in Britain, parts of bird were not allowed to be called leg or thigh. Really? Didn't know that. Gemma! I do take issue with those of certain religion and organizations, and they come as you are. Girl Friday, welcome, Girl Friday. Again, appreciate you being here with us this morning. Bylaws. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way that I was raised. You know, we always accepted everybody as on their own. You accepted people as they were, and you didn't look at someone and say you didn't help them because of the color of their skin. You didn't help somebody because of their religious practices. You just helped them. You helped your fellow man to in life if they needed help. If there was a flood, you didn't go through and go, okay, I can only help those who are over here who are of the same faith, and everybody else were sorry. You helped everybody. At least that's the way I was brought up. I just don't think it's very Christian to decide that this group is worth helping and this group is not. These people are bad and these people are not. Purple. Hello, Will, and hope is all is well. Rupal. Good morning, Rupal. Good morning. Everything is well with us here, Rupal. Thank you. I hope you are doing well, Rupal. Me and Gemma are trying. Cross your fingers that they don't someday, here really soon, that with our schedules and time delays between, Europe and here, we're able to finally get our collaboration done. But me and Gemma are going to do one. We just have to figure out a time and a day that's going to work for us. Excuse me. Well, I have faith that we're going to get it done. Just the time delay and when things work for Gamma and when things work for me. But we're going to get it done though. Also, the Spice Company. Bill Gothard. Oh, what a disturbing asshole. Distributed slavery apology. It's quite read. No wonder one of the Duggar daughters, is a person, color, thief in her book, You Can Shine So Bright. Really sad. Bill Gothard. Wow. There is an individual well, in case you're not familiar with who Bill Gothard is, ladies and gentlemen, Bill Gothard is one of the founders of the IFB, Independent Fundamentalist Baptist Movement, the church, the actual church where the Duggar family goes. He has been accused of sexual improprieties with really young girls and adult women as well, making them and forcing them to. These are accusations, I might say. Again, that he has forced women who are obviously married and had children to into relationships that were not beneficial to them. Let's just say. The accusations have not gone as far as saying that he raped them, but he's definitely um, sexual improprieties with others within the actual church itself. But it seems that a lot of his desires are with preteen girls. And when you look at the entire thing, you look at Josh Duggar and you put him dead center in the middle of a bullseye, okay? And you look around him, of all the child predators that were around him growing up, it's no wonder Josh Duggar turned out the way he is. don't forget, one of Jim Bob's best friends was is now a disgraced law enforcement agent who is doing time for child pornography. Another friend of the family was convicted and brought up on charges of child pornography. A boyfriend of one of his sisters, I think that I don't think they ever got into a really serious relationship, but they did date for quite some years. Um, was into child pornography and into rape videos. And then there's Bill Goffhard. I mean, and these people encircled Josh Duggar his entire life. And for Jim Bob to sit back and go, "Oh, I didn't know any of this stuff was going on," that's a complete lie. I mean, how the hell did you expect, to raise a son? It's like raising him in a pool full of piranhas and saying, he's fine. The piranhas won't bite him. But I guess at the end of the day, though, Josh Duggar in the middle of that circle has to take responsibility for his own actions, and he's guilty for what he did. Total nutcase, Dippadot? Yes, he is. He is a child predator just like the rest of them, though. Will and friends, I gotta run. Well, Trixie, you have a terrific weekend, Trixie, and stay safe out there. Thank you for stopping in this morning. Appreciate it. Kids come first. One of these days, Samantha, I want to cover some of the tragedies out of Ireland. I've written a couple of scripts, like the first part of the script to cover, especially what is taking place in Ireland with the Catholic Church. I've written out like the first part of it, but I've never moved past the editing stage beyond the original part. It's 4:28 a.m. and I'm late. All right, I'm going to move this now over to my desk. So you're gonna have to, everybody, just bear with me for a moment. Try not to drop the camera. Hey, look, I did it, and I didn't drop the camera. It's a lot easier to do it from here. The lighting's not the best. I'm gonna wait for the camera to adjust. At least it should adjust. So many. The dot and Mississippi. Oh, Amy, did you guys get flooded? Flooded out in Mississippi? Or is that where you're from? You're such a great friend, and I'm very happy to see you. Oh, thank you, Gemma. I appreciate it. We'll get it done soon, Gemma. Try to get Will's attention. Read your other comment. All right. I'm going to scroll up. Will's crazy story: a man stole a plane in Mississippi and is threatening to crash it into Walmart. Well, that's a typical Walmart story. He's threatening to crash it into there. I'm from the South. I I live in East Tennessee, so it's an embarrassment to associate with such a sad and offensive belief system. We're not all like those weirdos. Just saying. Oh, I totally agree. My best friend is actually relocating to Tennessee. She bought a farm about 40 miles from Nashville. It's about 40 miles from there. She bought about, I think it's in two tracks, so there's like a road that goes down one part of it, but on one the large portion is 15 acres and there's 10 acres on the opposite side of it. But that Tennessee is where her family originated from. Then they moved out west, but she's moving back there. She's in the process right now of having a home built on the property because it was just farmland for the longest time. I don't know if she plans on farming. She's not the farming type, but she is definitely the. I can't. I'll give you a brief little story of it. It's just how long we've known each other since elementary school. Um, we were in middle school, thereabouts. Maybe it was at like the last year of elementary school. We used to ride the same bus, not a school bus, but like it was a city bus, because the school we went to, because they closed down one, the kind of weird to the situation of where we live. There's a whole bunch of schools that closed down, and the one school that we were supposed to go to, they closed down. They mothballed it. They basically just boarded up the school and left everything inside. And because the population here fluctuates so much, it's not uncommon to see 30,000 people move within the next 6 months. And I mean, it really does. It varies like that a lot. So they don't need as many schools, and they need a lot of schools, and it just keeps on ebb and flow of it all. But anyways, going to the story. We used to have to take this city bus from one point. We'd all the students would meet there, and all these city buses would pull up and then drive us all the way to to this other school. And then it would do the return process, but it had after school it made multiple stops along that direct route. It was one way nonstop to school, and on the way back it had certain stops along the way that it would actually make. I think we look back on it, we have different variations of how this actually came down. But I got off the bus and she got off the bus, but it was like two stops before where she was supposed to get off, and I knew she had a crush on me. But being this young stupid kid, I saw her. She yelled out my name, and I hurriedly walked across the street, and then I made some shortcuts through a field and through behind a business, and she followed me the entire way, and not thinking of this. Like here she's yelling my name, and I knew she was yelling my name. I could hear her. She wasn't that far behind me, but we've been great friends for so long. I'm truly gonna miss her when she moves to Tennessee. I don't get to see her as much as I want to though right now. But you know, if moving to Tennessee makes her happy, that's all that matters to me in the end. Yeah, we have the internet, we have Facebook, we can keep up with each other's lives that way. You know, you always text each other. Okie dokie. Good morning, Stacy Payne. Wow. Good morning. I hope you are doing well. We used to go to amateur motocross nationals for our daughter to race and stay a week camping every year at Loretta Lynn's place in Tennessee. That would be cool as hell. Coal miner's daughter. Will had a stalker. Yeah, I wasn't always the well put together individual that I am today. I I don't know what I was thinking. When you're young like that, pre teen years, it all works out in the end. We've been great friends ever since then. Man, we were great friends before then. I just don't understand why I did it. We have different variations to it. Her version of that event, are a lot different. She made it abundantly obvious, in her version that she liked me, and but I just kept on picking the wrong women to date and to to be with. That's her version. Did Will repeat the story about Mr. Greer? I did last night. Okie dokie. I did. I actually went through, because I have my notes here about Mr. Greer. Arthur Allen Greer. I mean, there's several pages of them, but I went through them last night on the second try of the stream. Sorry you missed it, but if you look at the live stream, part 2 from last night, I covered it in the first part of it. I've been thinking about running away to Slab City. That's in Arizona, isn't it? Slab City. I saw a documentary about the Slab City. No rules, lawlessness, but they have rules. They have their own government and everything else that they've installed there. Janice, good morning. Welcome. I'm late, but I'm here. Oh, that's all that matters, Janice. Thank you for stopping in this morning. I appreciate it. And doing tarot card reading for a living. There's not much there, Samantha. For when it comes to like services, a lot of a lot of what they have to bus in, truck in. I want to see the castle that guy made. Well, it's like a pyramid of like different paths and stuff, but he made it out of dirt and then they painted over it so it's actually hard so it won't fall apart. That's at Slab Seat. I'd like to see that. The last 3 years, I've been something of a roller coaster for me in life and everything. How have you been? I've been up and down myself. Roller coaster ride. That's life, though. We all have our wins and our losses, and we have to try to get past them all. No, Sam, go to Slab City, but wait tables, everything, but stay for far away from the tarot card. Be blessed, sister. Hmm. Hey, grab my other notes here. And my coffee. So the last question that I was asked is if somebody would if I would look into actually they phrased it as would somebody look into. So this about student debt relief of getting rid of student debt. There are a lot of criteria. You have to make less than $125,000, but wiping away certain student debt. It ain't gonna make any difference to me and my wife. They're not gonna get rid of her debt because most of my wife's college debt is held in private hands. It's not. We have some Pell, and it might touch some of that, but a large majority of her student debt is in the private sector. So, but the question was, would somebody look into how much has tuition and costs gone up here in America for an education from community college and state college? So I actually looked into it. Since 1963 here in America, College tuition is increased 747.8%. That's the real number for community college and state college. Okay. It has gone up 747.8% since 1963. When it comes to Ivy League or a 4-year major university, if in state, now if you're going from out of state to another college, obviously the costs are a little bit higher, but that has increased 1,200 to 1,500% since 1963. And a lot of news agencies kind of play loose with the actual numbers there, but that's for a major university within a state, and it's for an Ivy League is where the 1,500% came into account. Now I didn't look into a lot of other ones, but even community colleges since 2010 have increased their tuition and books, the cost overall for everything, almost 31% since 2010. So I wanted to answer that last question before we moved on, and I forgot to answer it. They say the only difference of what? I missed it. Get my cursor back here. Difference between the Irish and the Scottish is the strength of their arms. Who chose to swim back? Oh. Little town called Carrickfergus, approximately 10 miles from Belfast. My family all hails from the northern part of Ireland. You are welcome here in Texas. Always take your shoes off and have some sweet tea. Want to come do some illegal gambling with me? Hey, not perfect, y'all. Illegal gambling? Every time I've been down there, there's more than enough casinos. Yep, I have fractured in my 4 metatarsal bone, along with 4 toe joints are inflamed. Purple, I actually I have a hairline fracture in the metatarsal bone in my left foot. I caught it on a rock, and my foot doubled back this way. That happened about 4 weeks ago. Man, my foot swelled up like there was no tomorrow. I couldn't even. I had to take my shoe off, and I walk around the rest of it, and it hurt so bad. My husband just got his left foot removed, diabetes. Oh, I'm sorry, Pippadot. It's always more intense than I could imagine. He has to go to wound care twice a week, wear a wound vac machine. A lot going on right now. My friend Keith had his left foot amputated because of diabetes. Yeah, and his one joy in this world, besides his kids and his wife, was he loved to ride his Harley, and he actually had his motorcycle changed to push button and push shift, so he could actually shift without having to obviously didn't have 2 feet anymore, but even when he had the prosthetic, he had it changed so the Harley could actually shift from a thumb little thing on the bars. Just tell your husband not to give up. Just keep on moving forward. Got to watch that diabetes, or as my grandmother used to call it, the sugars. My dad was diabetic, insulin dependent most of my life. I mean, well, I shouldn't say most of my life. I'm just talking about the younger years. He died when I was 10. So, I mean, during all those years, most of it, he was insulin dependent. Do you crochet or do Sudoku? No, I do not crochet, nor do I do Sudoku. My wife plays Sudoku, but not me. You do embroidery, word search. have puppies to take care of me. I'm going to Dallas next week. Oh, Dallas, Texas. Well, you can stop in and see Josh Duggar. He's just outside. Well, he's a little bit farther than that. I mean, he's Dallas, Fort Worth, and then up. But he's close enough for a day visit. I'm not sure because we are in fight at the Supreme Court because game rooms are illegal. My friend's arrested for paying cash last week, where they're playing like a poker game, cash game. Sorry about your friend getting arrested. You have type 1 insulin dependent pump, continuous glucose monitoring, put many of my friends in tighter control. I've always been right on the line, of for diabetes. It's something that I have to watch myself. No, don't want to see Josh Duggar. I really want to see my great grandson, who was born the 23rd of August. Oh, congratulations, Purple. Congratulations on the grandson. Oh, machines. Hmm. There were a lot of YouTubers that moved from California or commification, Florida. There's just so many different names that people call California. They moved. So many YouTubers I know of who moved from California to Texas, not counting Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan moved from Los Angeles to I want to say Austin. Hope you get to see him, Purple. We have fireball machines and 8 lines. Must be one-arm bandit machines. Before I moved my mother back here after my grandmother died, they used to take a bus to a casino, but this was in Minnesota, and they would play nickel slots all day long, and they would get there at like 9 o'clock in the morning and then leave at 11 o'clock at night, and then turn around and do it 2 or 3 days a week. They would just play these nickel slots. Type 2 diabetes, but it's converting to type 1. It's affecting my eyes. My days as trucker are numbered, unfortunately. I'm sorry about that. You got to have your eyesight, especially if you're going to be out there on the road. Seems so fast. My granddaughter had him by herself at home. Wow. Well, I'm glad he's doing okay. Your 4-year-old grandson just started pre-K. Granddaughter, she's the last of 9 grandchildren. Jeez, okie dokie. That's a lot. 9. 9 grandchildren. Hmm. Gayla, good morning. Speaking of California, good morning, Gayla Denson. I hope you are doing well, Gayla. Long time no see. All on my part. I hope you've been doing well. It's all good. I had it since 10 years of age. Friends and I have been talking about it, and I knew from T1D, Camp for Kids, best support system in the camp. Yeah, you got to keep your mind active. Keep your mind active. It's the best thing you can do. Surprised she's been given the name of badass goddess warrior. I gave my grandson the name of warrior. Purple? Did they name your granddaughter Xena? I have an exciting job. They shut my regular game room down, so now they hired me at another game room looking for cops so they don't bust or arrest any more of the ladies. No time for finding murderers. Oh, absolutely will. I must learn something new every day. My rule. Oh, good here. Preparing for give my hubby his 50th birth. 50 years old. Wow. Well, happy birthday to your hubby, Gayla. I was going to say, I worked in the casino industry for several years. I started off originally as a blackjack dealer. Then I went from blackjack to poker, from poker to table games, and then I became a floor boss. Then I worked in surveillance, and then I went back to being a pit boss. And I got to the point where, I mean, I loved the job. It was a fun job to have, but I could not. The part that got me was watching people who I knew had absolutely no business being in the casino at all, losing their asses every single week. And I'm like, like some of these people I knew personally. It's like I knew they had children at home. I'm like, why aren't you at home with your kids? Why are you here losing this freaking money, chasing a 1 in 30,000 chance that you're going to hit a jackpot? Not a huge jackpot, it's a small jackpot, a couple $1,000s, but they don't end up spending to the point where they, even if they hit the jackpot, all it was going to do was make them even. And that just started getting to me mentally, and I'd watch these people come in and lose and lose and lose and lose. The only way to make money in the casino industry is to keep your ass out of it. Don't ever go in and play. Don't ever do anything, because in the end, the house always wins in the end. But I enjoyed it. Addictions are tough. They are. They definitely are. Hello, Mandy Hall. Good morning and welcome, Mandy. I hope you are doing well. Welcome to this morning's stream. You're catching this near the end, but you can always watch the rest of it and rewind. But I appreciate you being here anyways. Doing well right now? That's good. Goosebumps reading your comment. A big hug. I don't know if I'll ever have grandchildren. My oops, sorry, kicked the bottom of the tripod there. My daughter has no desire to ever have children. Her So I live here. Her boyfriend lives about halfway across the United States. Him and his parents will be here for Thanksgiving here at my house. So they're actually flying here for Thanksgiving, which is going to be cool. Can't wait to meet his parents. Well, thank you, Janice. I appreciate it. That's one. That one back there. That one. That one is one of three in here. I have one that's a memorial. It's above the over here on this side of me. That's to my right, and it looks like I'm pointing to my left, but that's actually to the right. But I have one that's a memorial. That one flew at 29 Palms, California, when I was in the service, and I got it for my buddy there. And I have another one that's over here that's folded up in a box. It has a little bit of cremated remains of my friend's dog that he adopted when we were in the service. We found it wandering the road. Heeds what they want to do, anyways. Prophecy will have grandchildren. Well, but back to that. But they're going to be here for Thanksgiving, and I get to meet his parents for the first time. So, so maybe if I live long enough, maybe my son someday down the road, in 25 years from now, will have children of his own. I don't know. I mean, the boy's only 6 right now, so I'm kind of like in a lot of aspects where all my friends, growing up, their children are having children. They're having grandchildren now, and as their grandchildren are getting older, my son is going to school with their grandchildren. Because our daughter is 24 years old, and our son is 6 years old. Life and death in the power of the tongue, word of the Lord, so I speak to life. The word bed actually looks like it does. I never thought about that, Samantha. The word bed actually looks like bed. Of the holidays, this year has gone by so quickly. In some aspects, it has. It's gone by a heck of a lot quicker this year than it did during the COVID closure and shutdowns. Man, those 2 years has dragged on. 2020 and 2021, those years dragged. Everything seemed like it was in slow motion. Our words have power. Oh, yes, very much so. But whoever said that Humpty Dumpty was an egg? Well, I'm gonna have to wrap this up here, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to a one town over to help collect up a close friend of ours who is also a member of a family fraternal organization. We're members of the Loyal Order of the Moose, so we're Moose members. But they've been collecting canned goods for our local pantry. So I'm going over to help because I'm one of only 3 friends with a truck. Don't ever buy a truck unless you want to help people move things. But I'm helping move canned goods, and shelf staple items from where they collected them to the actual pantry. So I hope everyone has a wonderful day and rest of your weekend, and week next week as well. I just read the picture in Humpty Dumpty. It looks like an egg. Oh, thank you, Janet. I do my best, but I was made in the eyes of the Lord, and I am flawed. And just like everybody else, there's nobody out there in this world that's perfect. We all have our faults. We all have our good and our bad, our yin and our yang to each of us. Thanks, Will. I'll rewind to the start. Bye, everyone. But everyone, again, thank you for being here with me today. I really appreciate it. And again, stay safe out there. Until next time.